I hear a lot of questions about flexible dieting, so I wanted to address it here in a very brief video. This approach is also known as IIFYM. If you want to have a slice of pizza, you have that slice of pizza. Hey, what's up YouTube? It's Christine with Gauge Girl Training, an online meal planning and coaching service. I'm a food scientist and chemical engineer by training. Today I'm going to answer the question, what is flexible dieting? So let's get started. Alright guys, so you have seen several of my macros-based tutorials. You guys know that I have an online meal planning and coaching service, but I hear a lot of questions about flexible dieting. Some people are still a little bit unsure of what that even means. I get questions about this all the time, so I wanted to address it here in a very brief video. All flexible dieting is the concept of eating according to your macronutrient goals and having goals of your protein, carbs, and fats for the day. That is it. This approach is also known as IIFYM, which stands for if it fits your macros. So what does that mean exactly? What this means is if you want to have a slice of pizza, you have that slice of pizza. And all you do is track the macros according to your macronutrient goals for the day. Now, how do you practically implement something like this? So when you are following the macros approach to nutrition, again, your goals are to hit your protein, carbs, and fat for the day, and make sure that you are dialed in and that those numbers are dialed in to ensure that you're gonna hit your goals. If you don't know what your macros are, watch one of my older videos to see a tutorial of how to get to that point. But let's just say, for example, you know what you're supposed to be eating, you've been following a meal plan, and you eat what you eat for breakfast, you're in a pretty good routine, but let's say you've eaten all of your meals up to a certain point in the day, and you want to hang out with your friends and you want to eat a slice of pizza. So what you would do is the macros in one slice of pizza is 9 grams of fat, 24 grams of carbs, and 11 grams of protein. So what that means is you would tabulate this value for pizza in a macro counter. I use MyFitnessPal, but people use all different types of apps, and you would see how many macros you have left for the day. So now a meal like this would end up being a little bit off compared to what you would typically eat. But if your macros are, let's say your goal is 130 protein, 50 fat, and 150 carb. If they were your goals, you could fit that slice of pizza within that whole spectrum. The only difference is you will have a little bit less carbs, a little bit less fat, a little bit less protein to go for the day. But the premise is to get everything to fit within your goal for the day. So what does that mean? This means you have flexibility. That's why it's called flexible dieting. Now, this approach is great for people who perpetually cheat on their diets, for people who need more freedom. For some of you guys who would maybe consider yourself foodies, for those of you who like to go out to eat a lot, this is great for you. Just track your macros. However, there are some shortcomings to this approach. So there are cons to flexible dieting, and those things are just lack of planning. And a lot of times, if you fail to plan, you can plan to fail. So simple as that. And while the extra variety and flexibility is nice, it can be challenging, especially if you are new to the macros approach. It can be very challenging to actually hit your macros spot on. It takes a lot of knowledge about food, a lot of discipline, and it takes a lot of tedious logging, in my opinion. It's not hard, but it can be tedious, especially if it's new for you. And the next thing is the constant counting of macros every time you eat. So if you just go ahead and meal plan once or twice a week, you just eat your meals, go about your day, you don't really need to think about it. However, if you are going about a flexible dieting, if you need to pick up your phone, log something in every single time you eat, it can begin to create a little bit of a negative relationship with food because you begin to look at food as only numbers all the time. And I know that doesn't work well for some people, that stresses some people out, and that's not a good experience for some. However, there are pros, there are cons, and I think this is a great approach for a maintenance style lifestyle, or if you do want to work in a few cheat meals now and then. Now, some people get freaked out by the word cheat meal. It's an off-menu meal. To me, they're the same thing, but if you do care about the semantics of it, you can call it an off-menu meal. Same thing in my mind, but just log your macros, stay on point. This is also a great approach for when you're traveling, great approach for vacation, great approach for a variety of reasons, but just know that it's available, know that you can do this regardless of whatever your macros are. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.